Its most accurate updates on all things election 2020. This is your election headquarters live here on JoyNews Desk, and we begin with the Electoral Commission, which has this morning moved to senior high schools to register students who are eligible to vote as part of the ongoing voters' ID registration exercise. At an emergency inter-party advisory committee meeting on Thursday, the EC briefed political parties about its decision to register students in schools that are not gazetted as registration centers. Maxwell Agbagba joins us from Presec Legon.
The Okankwin North District. Remember yesterday after an IPAC meeting, the Electoral Commission put out a statement that from today till tomorrow, Saturday, they will be setting up registration centers at institutions, second cycle institutions that do not have registration centers. That is to give opportunity to students who are qualified to also register so they can have an ID card for the 2020 elections, and beyond. So we're here at the new Achimota, new assembly hall of the Achimota School. The process is going on, as you can see. The registration officers look busy here in the background. Let's get closer and speak to one of the officials here. Let's find out from him how the process has gone, so far. So, you're welcome to JoyNews.
Thank you.
Okay. What's your full name, sir?
I'm Alhaji Yunus Asalifu Rashid.
Okay. You are the?
I'm the district registration supervisor.
Okay, great. Tell us, what is happening here at this assembly hall? So, this is to register students of Achimota School?
Yes. We are registering Achimota Secondary School, Senior High School students. But before the students were coming, the teachers had wanted to be registered first because most of the students haven't gotten a verification document. That is to say, Ghana card or a passport. So when they register, they will in turn guarantee for the students so that we can also register them.
Okay. But wouldn't that create any problems?
No, they are teachers. You can never leave them out since they are within the school. So you cannot, once the opportunity has come on their way, you must use it.
Okay. So you said majority of the students don't have their documents here, their passport and their Ghana card.
That is what I'm contemplating.
Okay.
So if the teachers are registered, they can also guarantee for them to be registered.
Okay. But what about those who raise concerns that the teachers do not necessarily live here in this, in this district or in this constituency?
Well, the teachers, we ask them where they live. If the person lives at a school here, then it means he lives within the constituency.
If they have a bungalow here, then it means they live here. Okay.
They have bungalows, and then we take their bungalows numbers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, do you have an idea the number of students you're expecting to come and register here today?
No, for now we don't have an idea. We are here today and tomorrow.
Okay.
So we are expecting a number of them.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. But I cannot tell you exact number that will be registering. Okay. Yeah, because we don't know their ages. Yeah, somebody may be here 17 years. That person will never be registered. Okay. It is 18 years and above.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great. So after tomorrow, are we likely to, or it depends on what the Electoral Commissioner is going to say?
Yeah, it depends on what will come from the headquarters.
Okay.
Yes, the days are given from there. Okay. So when we finish with the 2 days, then we wait to see what also will come from there.
Okay. Yeah. So how many registration centers do we have here in this new assembly hall?
Yes, here we have 5 polling stations here.
Okay. 5
polling stations to say it's Achimota Primary School. Some of them are living in there. Okay. Some of them are living in there. And some houses are there.
Okay.
So some houses are there. So we have Achimota Primary School polling station 1 and 2, and we have Achimota Preparatory School 1 and 2. So those are the polling stations that we are using for them.
Okay, sure.
1, 2, and 3.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, madam.
Alaji, once again, you say you are the district registration supervisor.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much for speaking.
You're welcome, my brother.
Okay, great. So you just heard the district registration supervisor telling us all the measures they've put in place to ensure that the registration, goes on smoothly. There are some party agents here. Some of them taking it up there. Let's see if they can speak to us. Chief, you're welcome to JoyNews.
Yeah.
You're the NDC party agent, I believe?
Yes, please.
What are you looking out for, and what notes are you comparing there? Can you share with us?
Yeah, I came in not quite long, so I'm just trying to cross-check what he has already, and then I can input into my data column. And then for what we'll be looking out for, since it's a school, we're looking at maybe the students should comport themselves so that no one walk out contracting any of the COVID-19. Yeah.
You'd also be looking out for their guarantors, or what exactly?
I wouldn't say guarantors. Once they are in school, we don't think guarantors is going to work. But that is very necessary, but I don't think it would be. Yeah.
You've been here for some hours now. What would be your assessment of the process so far?
Yeah, okay. In this very school, it's very, very okay, like nice as compared to other places I've been to. Because looking at the arrangements and how the people are sitting, they're observing the social distance, which is very good. Yeah.
What's your name again?
The name is Kingsley Anyamasa.
Thank you for speaking to us. So you just heard Kingsley. Kingsley is one of the party agents for the NDC, and as you rightly heard him say, the process is going on smoothly. I can corroborate that, yes, the process is going on smoothly here. I see a lot of social distancing. Yeah, all the people I've seen here are wearing their mask. Yeah, it's very good here. It looks very good here. Social distancing ticked, wearing of mask ticked. All the protocols being adhered to. Before we entered, we were made to wash our hands before we got inside here. There are 2 Veronica buckets outside there. Let's speak to another party agent, this time party agent for the NPP. Madam, what's your name?
I'm Lucy Ayamga. Lucy Ayamga.
Lucy Ayamga. Tell me, how is the process going for you?
So far, everything is going well. Yes.
Okay. So as a party agent, what do you look out for?
I'm looking out for the students. I think they are not yet in. I think by the break time or closing, they will all be here to register in their numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you're waiting for?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sure.
Now the teachers are all here. So we are waiting for the students to come.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. So you just had the NPP party agent also telling you her expectations and what she's here to do. So basically that's what is happening here at the new Achimota Assembly Hall, new Assembly Hall of the Achimota School here in the Okakwe North District. The process is going on smoothly. It looks like all the people we've spoken to here are quite happy about how the exercise is going on here. As I already mentioned, social distancing and the wearing of masks, it's, I can say 100%. And adherence to the COVID-19 protocols, well on point. Well, that's all we can say on the registration exercise here at Achimota School.
And that's the situation at Achimota School this morning. Now, your election headquarters comes your way today at 5 p.m. with a Joy ballot box. We take you live to Hohoe in the Volta region and join my colleague Winston Amwa for live updates.
Okay, so we're currently at the Hohoe Municipal Assembly, the forecourt of the old Municipal Assembly here at Hohoe, where tonight the maiden edition of ballot box for Election 2020 will be held. And as you can see just behind me, that's the backdrop. So that's the Joy ballot box. Everything is set. We're getting ready. The stage is very much ready. And so at 5 p.m., we're expecting everybody to be seated, and then we get on. But, you know, as we got here, we've been doing a lot of things. We've been, putting the ballot boxes at the various locations, as we talked about. We had one at the old municipal assembly here. We had another one at the police station here in Hohoe, and then one at the Kpandu Municipal Assembly, and another at the Afajato South Police Station. Now, they've been voting, they've cast their vote, and they have been telling us issues that will be influencing the choices that they make come December 7, 2020. Now, one interesting point is that, of course, we all do know that there's COVID-19, and people will be talking about the things that we have to do in order to ensure that we solve COVID-19. But I was struck when market women said that, look, we want our children to go to school, but we just don't want them to go to school under the current circumstances. So we want to hear from duty bearers, we want to hear from those who want to lead this country, how they are going to beat COVID-19 so that our children can go to school. We certainly do not want our children to go to school in the current state, but we want something done as quickly as possible or as soon as possible so that they can go to school. This is one of the things that we'll be talking about today. We'll be finding out some of the measures that are going to be put in place to ensure that Ghana is able to beat COVID-19. But just before we even continue, it's important we get to know the percentages, as in what people have been saying and issues that are going to be influencing their votes. Now, issues, and those top issues have to do with road, employment and education, representing 71.31%, and then the remaining 7 issues representing 28.69%. And if you look at the top 3 issues, that's road has 24.35%. So out of those who cast their vote, 24.35% say, well, some of the issues that would influence how we vote would have to do with the nature of our roads. In fact, as we were coming here, where we drove on the roads, once we got the people asked us, and that simply means, I'm sure you've seen the roads, you've seen the nature of the roads, and we believe that you're going to be talking about the nature of the roads. But one thing that is also very, very important here is that 25% of the voters within the Hoho municipality and Kpandu municipality and Afajato South District say that employment is for them the most important thing. They'll be looking at measures that are going to be put in place to ensure that they're able to get employment before voting. So which party or which parliamentary candidate will be able to achieve this is that person that you're going to be voting for, with 21.74% talking about issues to do with education. There's been talks about the need to cancel that's the licensing examination, and also the fact that teacher trainee students or those who complete teacher trainee institutions should not be made to do national service, to the cancellation of the double track system. And some others have been talking about security and peace. We've been talking about youth and development, as well as a release of locked up funds so people would be able to actually get into business. We have been speaking to the security agencies. We've spoken to the the divisional police commander. He's assured us that everything will be put in place. They've been here to inspect all the entries to make sure that nobody gets in illegally. And they've promised that by 4 p.m. they'll be here to ensure that everything goes on smoothly.
They're joining us from Hohoe, where the Joy ballot box will be taking place tonight from 5 p.m. Now, it's interesting, really, the issues that are taking center stage for the people of Hohoe, because if you notice, the government recognized the need for road infrastructure and declared 2020 the year of roads. Check, that's number 1 of the issues they want to talk about. Also, employment. The caption for the NPP's manifesto in the 2016 election was change, an agenda for jobs. So the question is this an indication of a failure on the part of government to meet these promises to the people? We find out tonight at 5 p.m. at Hohoi. Now, Member of Parliament for Elembele, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, is accusing government and the military high command of using its officials to intimidate electorates at polling centers within the Elembele district. According to him, the presence of the heavily armed officials is deterring eligible voters to partake in the ongoing exercise. Addressing the press in Parliament, Mr. Boa urged the Defence Minister and the military high command to investigate the conduct of the said officials within the district, which is not close to the border.
We were earlier told by the Defence Minister that the military was being deployed to the border areas to make sure that foreigners do not enter the country, to protect the country from foreigners entering with, and because of the coronavirus. Elembele district is not a border town. And so, by the Defense Minister's criteria, there is no reason why military should be deployed to Elembele district. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to draw attention to something very worrisome. Heavy military presence in registration centers with guns in the Elembele district. And curiously, these military men have been deployed to places that are supposed to be the NDC strong areas. It started off by slow registration in these centers. And then yesterday we had military with guns, and you should have seen women, pregnant women, poor farmers running away, because these are Ghanaian citizens who are reluctantly, and I repeat, reluctantly, under very difficult circumstances, basically being forced to go and take risk to register at the risk of their lives. And as they are exercising that constitutional right to exercise so that they can be in a position to vote, they witnessed the presence of armed Ghana Armed Forces inscribed soldiers with guns. It was, quite frankly, a scene that, quite frankly, any peace-loving Ghanaian should be worried about.
Joy ballot box is at 5 p.m. tonight on this channel. Now let's turn our attention away from the elections, and health experts are asking school authorities at the second cycle level to complement government efforts as maintaining protocols on campus as the Ghana Education Service curbs COVID-19 cases being recorded in some schools. They spoke on the AM show.
It's worrying times, I have to admit, because the confirmed cases are increasing on a daily basis. I've listened to a few people, government people, and they talk about the fact that, I think the last time you had an interview with the Deputy Minister of Health, he talks about the fact that because we have ramped up testing in the country, that is the reason why we are seeing a lot of cases, which is fine. I mean, that tells you that testing is really not an artifact, you know, of the COVID-19. COVID-19 is not an artifact of the testing. But again, in recent times, I heard one of the seasoned epidemiologists in the country, Fred Binker, talk about the fact that if we really don't step up our game, we're going to hit 50,000 cases not too soon. So it is worrying times. The key question is that, are the mitigation measures not working? Well, it's something we interrogate. Let me first begin by providing some context for the rising cases in school. And I'm sure it's something that resonates with everybody who has been to a secondary school. You know what? In secondary schools, there's overcrowding. You know, the dormitories are overcrowded, assembly halls are overcrowded, classrooms are overcrowded. And to add to that, there is poor ventilation. These are conditions that enable the virus to thrive. You know, we talk about the nutritional status of school children. It's very poor. You go to the dining halls. What foods are they feeding them? You know, these foods are not nutritious, you know. And the last time I was on your show, I mentioned the fact that the president has always been admonishing us to have proper nutrition. And if you're in a secondary school, are you going to have an enhanced nutrition? I'm sorry. it's not going to happen. Ignorance is also a key role in secondary schools and other educational institutions. When students have money as a result of their parents providing them with some little money to feed themselves, what do they spend the money on? On junk, sweet, energy-dense foods that are non-nutritious, poor hand-washing practices in schools because they don't have the infrastructure. How many schools have Veronica buckets? In my department here, we had to buy a Veronica bucket and put it here. But under normal circumstances, government will provide us with some Veronica buckets so that we can distribute them all around the university so that hand-washing facilities can be easily done. That's not to say the university is not doing. They are doing a lot by putting sanitizers and all those things around the places. So my university is doing well in that front, Then again, in schools, management hardly pays attention to our health concerns. They don't. It's not something that is at the top of the agenda. Sorry to say that. Do they have vehicles that when we have severe cases, they can transport them easily? Do they have infirmaries? You go to these infirmaries, they don't even have the medical supplies, So this is the context, So not until we start to address some of these structural challenges, I'm afraid the cases might go up.
Very difficult situation for our students here in Ghana and their parents. Of course, the anxiety and the stress surrounding this COVID-19 crisis is affecting students, their ability to focus, stay on task, and perform to the maximum ability. So my role would be to assist students and their family and their parents to cope, to find ways, practical ways to cope with the crisis. We cannot change the environment, but there are ways to learn to relax, to see things in a relative way and to be able to focus on our tasks. So what we do here at EAP, I'm with EAP Africa, what we do is train parents to assist their children during this difficult time. So the key things, and we're talking about high school students, right, teenagers. I think what is key is to listen and for teachers, staff, everybody around these students to listen to the anxiety. Let them express what worries them. That makes a very big difference for us, for adults to listen to these children and be honest with our assessment of the situation. They will have questions, they will have worries, and us as adults, our role is to be honest. We don't have all the answers, but I believe that just being present and acknowledging their anxiety, their stress, their worries makes a big difference. And that's the starting point, to acknowledge that there is discomfort, anxiety, and stress. I think that's the first start. Well, of course, the cultural, landline of Ghana affects the way we behave. But my role is to help those children focus, those young people focus on what they can control. I agree with Dr. Kofi, there are a lot of challenges.
Service has ruled out mass testing of students for COVID-19 despite confirmed cases in some schools. Ashanti Regional Health Director Dr. Emmanuel Tinkrine admits mass testing is the best option, but insists it is too expensive for a developing country like Ghana. Ohiming Teria has more.
Cycle schools reopened last month after a 3-month break due to COVID-19. 6 students, as well as a teacher and a spouse, have tested positive for COVID-19 at the Accra Girls Senior High School. In the Ashanti region, 2 schools, including Konongo Wesley High, have also recorded confirmed cases. Students of KNUST SHS went on rampage on Tuesday following the death of a colleague. They blamed authorities for abandoning the final year 6 student to die for fear of COVID-19. There are calls from some individuals and groups to either close down schools or have students tested en masse. Dr. Tinkran, however, says neither option is the way to go.
Testing somebody is not enough because, you see, your status can change today. So, for instance, if you are tested positive today, in 2 weeks' time, you may recover. If you are tested negative today and you don't adhere by the protocols and the guidelines, you will get the infection. So for me, I believe that, you see, the primary thing is what should always be done by low-income countries. The testing is so expensive. If you decide that we are going to test maybe about 600,000 Ghanaians, at a point in time, you won't even get the logistics because you have to import the reagents, a whole lot of things. So mass testing, though, is good. It's not encouraged for low-setting areas, low-resource setting countries. What is good for us as a low-resource setting countries is the public health measures.
Dr. Tinkran maintains winning the coronavirus fight in schools requires students and their teachers to adhere strictly to all preventive protocols.
The students cannot remain in the house throughout. We don't know when we are going to get vaccines. So maybe if a country decides that their children are not going to school, and it takes us 2 years to get vaccine, then by 2 years' time, do you know what's going to happen? So one thing is that it's not a matter of waiting for anything because the COVID will not go today or tomorrow. What we can use to destroy COVID is to make sure that we embark on the public health measures to control what? COVID. So we can do whatsoever we like. We can go to school, we can go to work, and the basic principle is doing that in the midst of adherence to the 3 core principles.
The Conference of Heads of our sister second cycle schools, CHAS, says it is not for closure of schools, but it supports calls for mass testing. Ashanti Regional President, Reverend Father Stephen Osusechre, however, indicates it's a decision for Ghana Education Service to make.
We were crying for mass testing even before school reopened. But the experts told us that the mass testing will not do anything. Now that all students are in school, if they decide to test everybody, I think that would be good for us. From where I sit, I don't have the data to be able to determine whether or not schools must be closed down. I don't have that data, all right? But what I know is that when those who have the data, I mean management of GES, they have the data from every region. So they'll be able to put together that data and say that, okay, because of what is happening, we should close down the schools.
From Kumasi, for Joy News, Oime Ntewia reporting.
Now, a team of health workers at the dental unit at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital in Accra have come up with an appropriate technology designed to cut back on the risk of getting exposed and infected with coronavirus by inhaling aerosol of clients who undergo cleaning and filling. Latif Idris has been speaking with the lead inventor in the following report.
Necessity, they say, is the mother of inventions, and the COVID-19 pandemic continues to bring out the best in the Ghanaian. Latest is what has taken place here at the Rich Hospital, specifically the dental unit, where a team of health professionals have successfully come up with an appropriate technology, this time aerosol absorber. The status quo prior to the outbreak of coronavirus was to perform dental procedure in an open surgical environment. That meant aerosol generated during dental procedure will accumulate in the immediate surroundings, risking lives of doctors and other health personnel attending to clients.
Dentistry was fully aware of the dangers that confronted them, especially when the COVID came. So immediately we suspended all elective dental procedures. So now that COVID gradually has forced us to rethink and see how we solve that problem. That is how come this idea came up.
After it has been absorbed by the extractor, the aerosol goes through a filter in the ceiling and then evaporates into the atmosphere. But isn't that posing existential threat to those outside the surgical settings?
So here's the point. We've been debating on this for months. When we started with this, we thought that it would be inappropriate for us to stop all the services because of fear and panic. So we started with the Uber that had been shown before. Then we moved to this. Then there is a machine right in the ceiling. That machine has a filter, which is equivalent to the face mask you are using. So when it goes in, or when you hear of the ventilators, they also have a filter that allows the gases that the patient breathes out to be well filtered in case it has any virus or anything. So it's that filter that helps to filter out whatever goes.
I asked Dr. J about how much of risk the invention has cut back in the surgical environment.
Technically, I think I may say almost 100%, because our problem is trying not to concentrate the aerosol in the surgical environment. And from what you see, all aerosol that is being generated from the mouth is being sucked.
When COVID-19 infection started, the dental unit at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital and many other dental units quickly shut down.
Previously, this would just be coming out of the patient's mouth and accumulating in the surgical environment or the surgery, risking everyone else who is not in a face mask in the surgical environment.
The technology has, however, made their work cumbersome, giving meaning to the cliche, "We are not in normal times."
Let's take you straight to the Electoral Commission for a news conference on the ongoing voter registration exercise.
The Accra Metropolis, the Tema, and Ashaman and its environs, where observing social distance is still a challenge to the Commission. However, there are several measures that we have actually put in place, and this, in a way, has gone a long way to address these challenges. In the first place, the Commission has intensified its distance rule, and we have also asked our district electoral officers to educate the general public on various platforms on the need to observe the social distance rule. And we have all our officers who's on the stations, FM stations, and all that, educating the general public on the strict adherence to the safety protocols as well as the social distance rule. In addition, the Commission has vehicles that we have mounted our PA systems, and DEOs are using the public address system to educate the public. They embark upon dawn broadcast, and this is also yielding fruitful results. The Commission has made provision for additional chairs for applicants to sit on at the registration centers. And at centers where we have overcrowding, the Commission has increased the number of chairs to 200 and above. An example of such place or centers is what we have in Odododiodio. It has been a center where we have so many people in the queue, and the Commission has made available enough chairs for them to sit on to address this issue of social distance. The Commission has also, in collaboration with the security agencies, made known this challenge of social distance challenge. And the security agencies, as a result of the collaboration, have intensified their efforts, and their efforts have also yielded positive results, and we are seeing improvement in the social distance rule. Earlier, we also indicated the assistance from the nurses from the Ghana Health Service who are manning the temperature guns, they have also intensified their efforts in educating all those who get to the centers, as well as helping to enforce the safety protocols. The Commission has always been hammering on one major measure which it instituted to address this social distance challenge, and this is the queue management system. As a reminder, this measure, we've always been saying, is to deal with overcrowding at the registration centers. The explanation is very simple. The first 150 applicants who arrive at the registration center will be provided with numbered chits. We have actually found out that on the average, it's between 100, 150, and 200. So the first 150 applicants are given chits. Half of them are asked to leave and then come back in the afternoon when the first batch has been processed. This has been an effective tool, and it is yielding positive results at the registration centers, most especially at the centers who are strictly adhering to this queue management system. And with this education, or with education that the Commission is embarking upon, we hope that its officials will use this system to control the crowd and bring final sanity into the systems at the registration centers. The Commission has also intensified its public education on its movement plans for the registration teams in the subsequent phases of the registration exercise. And we believe that this, in a long way, will avoid applicants from going to the wrong registration centers to register, or applicants trooping to centers that they are not expected to go and register. Another measure is that the Commission is also currently using local radio stations, street announcements, using the EC vans. We also have the EC's website and other social media platforms as the principal tools for the publicity exercise. And in addition, the Commission has also deployed additional kits to the districts as mobile teams to help address the challenge of long queues at some registration centers. The mobile teams has improved upon the social distance situation and has also eased overcrowding at some of the centers. So centers which are experiencing long queues, the officers send mobile teams to assist. They send the teams over there to help to facilitate the registration process over there, leading to the reduction in the numbers at those centers. To further facilitate the processing of applicants at the registration centers, to ensure seamless process, the Commission has also directed that registration officials should not fill new Form 1A for applicants who go to the centers with filled downloaded forms from the Commission's website. Reports that we had from the field indicates that when applicants get to the center with the downloaded forms from our website, some registration officials fill a new form for them, that's the Form 1A, and the Commission thought that this will not actually solve the problem that it intended to do. To facilitate the process, the directive is that all applicants who get to the centers with the downloaded forms, officers should not fill any new form for them. Rather, they are to fix or attach the downloaded form which has been tamprinted to the Form 1A, which has a serial number, unlike the downloaded form which doesn't have. The Commission has also instituted another measure to the aged and the vulnerable to get them registered. And it has made provision for them to register at the district offices. However, if they live closer to where the registration team is, they are expected to go there and register. The administrative directives to all the registration teams, the aged and the vulnerable are to be given priority when they get to the major or the regular registration centers to register. However, we have had some few cases of some officials flouting this directive. Although it is not widespread, the Electoral Commission wishes to take this opportunity to apologize to the aged and the vulnerable who have gone to those registration centers to register and have actually experienced long delays. The Commission wishes to assure them that it is putting in place all the necessary measures to improve upon the situation at the regular registration centers in the subsequent phases. However, as I said, the aged and the vulnerable can still take advantage of the EC office registration exercise in their respective districts, which is solely designed for them. And I wish to state that this is the first time that the Commission has made such arrangement exclusively for the aged and the vulnerable to ensure that they do their registration in comfort. This is a very big achievement. At this juncture, may I say that this ongoing phase, which started on Monday, 6th of July, 2020, will end tomorrow. That is Saturday, the 11th of July. A new phase will start on Sunday, July, and end on February 17th, Friday, 17th July. Information on the phase is available on our website, that is the www.ec.gov.ph. If you go to our website, you will get information the next phase, which starts on Sunday, 12th July. Also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the Daily Graphic and the Daily Guide. All these are mediums that we can get information on the phase from. We will now turn our attention to the registration figures for the 7-day, which was Monday, the 8th, and then the 9th. That is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 3 days after the first phase. In the Western region, the total number registered, that is for the first day, Monday, was 23,764. Western North recorded 9,555. Central, 36,931. Greater Accra, 64,781. Volta, 23,034. OT, 8,051. Easton, 36,687. Ashanti 69,777. Bono 14,529. Ahafo 8,385. Bono East 14,491. Savannah 4,700. Northern 14,206. Northeast 6,637. Upper East 14,774. Upper West 10,728. So the total is 361,030. Applicants who supported their registration with Ghana card is 264,110, and this represents 73.2%. And then persons who supported their registration with passport is 5,313, representing 1.5%. Persons who supported their registration by using guarantors is 91,607, representing 25.4%. On the second day, that is Tuesday, the Western region recorded 28,332. Western North recorded 11,365. Central recorded 39,700. Greater Accra recorded 79,558. Volta region recorded 24,648. And OT recorded 9,464. Eastern recorded 40,986. Ashanti recorded 76,051. Bono 16,139, and Ahafo 9,066. Bono East recorded 15,852, and Savannah recorded 6,903. Northern region recorded 25,096, and Northeast recorded 7,957. Upper East recorded 16,028, and Upper West recorded 11,465. So the total is 418,610. Applicants who supported their registration with Ghana card is 276,163. Applicants who supported their registration with passport is 6,181. So the Ghana card represents 66%. Then passport represents 1.5%. And persons who supported their registration using guarantors is 136,266. And that also represents 2%. So for both days, you find out that we still have high number of applicants using the Ghana card as well as the use of guarantors. The 9th, that's on Wednesday, the Western region recorded 26,906. Western North, 10,693. Central, 36,642. Greater Accra, 87,819. Volta, 22,814. And OT, 8,207. Eastern, 35,772. Ashanti, 69,744. Bonum, 14,747. Ahafo, 7,286. Bono East, 14,484. Savannah, 7,189. Northern region, 25,545. And Northeast, 7,743. Upper East, 13,960. And Upper West, 9,556. So the total number of registered voters recorded nationwide is 399,107 on the 9th day, which was Wednesday. So these are the figures that we have for the 3 days. As you will recall, earlier we had, for the first 6 days, a total number that's provisional, 2,264,207. So the 7th day, the 8th day, and then the 9th day, the total adds up to 1,178,747. So the current provisional figure for the total number of registered voters nationwide up to Wednesday is 3,422,954. May I also say that the Commission is undertaking a major exercise of registering students in the senior high schools today and then tomorrow. The GES wrote to the Electoral Commission looking at the circumstances that we find ourselves. Students in the senior high schools are not expected to leave their campuses. Even parents are not expected to visit them. They have the right to register and vote. Yesterday, the Commission had an IPAC meeting with the political parties, and we informed the political parties about this registration. So the registration is taking place in all the senior high schools. What the Commission did was that there are certain schools which have registration centers. An example is Akana Secondary School. Those centers are working all right, and it's not part of the deployment of the teams to register those who do not have registration centers located within the campuses. So we have two aspects. Schools that have registration centers within their campuses, and they are registering. Then we also have schools that do not have registration centers within their campuses or premises. And that is what the Commission has decided to deploy PVR kits to the centers to register the students today and tomorrow. If we are not able to capture all of them, the Commission will also find another time and then make sure that the rest of the students are captured. What the Commission is will do is that there are nearby polling stations that the students will be registered into. The students have also been catered for under the new CI, which will mature very soon, and that will give them the opportunity to effect transfers. So though they can register on campus, there is an opportunity for them to transfer their votes to wherever they will be come 7th December. Those who are in their homes can also register at the various registration centers closer to them. And if per chance come 7th December they are on school, they can also transfer their votes to the centers that they will register. So this is what we have on the registration of the students. It will also interest you to note that Singapore is voting and the electoral processes have not stopped because of disease outbreaks. The Commission wishes to call on the public to adhere to the government directives and to well-meaning Ghanaians to assist to observe the social distance protocols to make the registration exercise a success for our nation, Ghana. The Commission is also encouraging people to wait for their turn, since the registration team will always be at their respective registration centers when the time is due for them to be registered. We are also, as a Commission, encouraging them to show up in their mask and observe the social distancing rule. We also wish to state that it is the responsibility of all of us as citizens to make this registration exercise as well as our democratic dispensation process. On this note, we wish to thank you very much for coming.
And that's Samuel Tete. He is Deputy Chair of the Electoral Commission in charge of operations, taking us through the successes of the past few days registration exercise, and specifically walking us through the numbers. We know that the update as of Monday was 2.2 million persons had registered in the first 6 days of the registration. Of course, we know also that senior high schools are registering today within their premises. Expect more analysis and more updates when we come back at midday with Joy News today. But that's it for Joy News Desk. My name is Daniel Dazen. Have a good day.